everybody. Now, before we get started, yes, we know this is late.
Yeah.
We were at a convention selling beautiful artworks that many people came by and bought. And we saw many fans there.
Yeah. If you were one of the people there at Con Delete, hi, it was great meeting you.
Yeah, so we were doing that instead of going to watch a movie that we thought was going to be terrible. So we waited until today, Monday, and you're probably going to see this today, Tuesday.
Unless it's not Tuesday and it's later.
And then, in which case, we're sorry, we were incorrect. But anyways, we went and saw, not Star Wars, we saw Ferdinand.
Still waiting to see Star Wars.
Yeah, so if you saw the movie, Star Wars, and enjoyed it, good for you, shut up, we don't want to know anything.
Yeah.
So you can say the movie was good, or the movie was bad, whatever.
No, Ferdinand.
We're talking about Ferdinand, and,
First thing I want to say is, I'm sorry, Blue Sky. I thought this was going to be really bad, and I was not looking forward to this one. But, you know what? This was actually way better than expected.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't just mean like, oh, it was better than I expected. I mean, it was significantly better than I expected. Yeah. And it's probably in my top 5 movies for this year. Granted, that is not a very high bar. If it had come out, last year,
it'd still probably be one of the worst films.
Yeah, but I mean, this is
been a bad year.
2017, so you gotta take what you can get with these movies. Good job, Blue Sky. I mean,
good job. No one's gonna see this because Star Wars came out at the same weekend.
Yeah, you didn't pick a great weekend.
But it's still a legitimately good movie. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, if we can get word out there that this is a legitimately good movie and people go see it, then good.
Yeah.
Because this is... You should go throw money at Blue Sky, because they did a good job this time.
Yeah, I mean, Blue Sky can be hit or miss sometimes, and I think this one's actually a hit.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely getting their craft down better and better, every movie they do.
Yes, and you know what?
Not just the craft, storytelling.
The storytelling's still like the weakest part here, though.
That is true.
But gosh, the animation, the character designs, the art direction, was all fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything about that was great. The story was pretty basic, but I think it worked very well.
I will give them big props for the story, because from the trailers, it looked like they were ditching a lot of what made Ferdinand.
But no, they actually
covered the story pretty well, and they add to it in ways that I think do enhance the story a bit.
Yes.
Now, that being said, there is a lot of superfluous fluff, and it is very easy to spot.
You're just like, okay, this scene was unneeded, we could just chop that. Honestly, I think, I'm not sure how long this movie actually was, but I'm going to guess it was probably around an hour and a half. I bet you could probably cut out a good 15-20 minutes out of this film.
If not more. And you would still get the rest of the movie just as much as you need, and it would still be great. Yeah. Now, that being said, a lot of the fluff was actually pretty tolerable, and I enjoyed quite a bit, even though in the back of my mind I'm like, this scene really doesn't need to be here.
Yeah, this is just boring fluff.
Yeah.
Cat's getting that stuff. We need to move it out of the way. But, yeah, I think that about covers the non-spoiler
Well, okay. I do have one other criticism. And while I do have a lot of positives to say about this movie, my biggest complaint is that I felt like I was watching 2 movies.
Yeah?
There was serious Ferdinand that wanted to tell a story and add even a little bit of commentary about the ethics of bullfighting and, still talking like very strongly about the whole pacifist point, although they kind of turned the pacifist talking point into more so of a be yourself
Yeah.
kind of story.
It was kind of both.
Which I wasn't like, I wish they would just go more with the pacifism angle rather than the be yourself, because I think they could have a really good...
Very solid, like, fighting is bad, fighting is bad, fighting is bad.
Yeah, and just hammer that in.
Not just
rather than
fighting is bad for me, but it could be okay for you type of thing.
Right, and instead it just kind of falls back on this, like, no, just be yourself, and it's like, yeah, you know, everybody's done that. We know, be yourself. But the emotional aspects of the movie were good, but then the other half of the story was like...
Goofy, childish antics.
Right, was pretty much everything you see in the trailers. And these two things sometimes conflict with each other.
Yeah.
And it gives you, like, tonal whiplash as it, like, suddenly swerves hardcore into, like, oh...
Jokey joke.
We just went from a jokey joke to, woo, things got really serious. And
that's dark.
Yeah. And then I'm just kind of like, oh, I kind of laughed at that, and I don't think I should have.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a legitimate problem with this movie.
Yeah, tonal whiplash would be just how I would summarize it.
Mm-hmm. It's not crazy bad, but it's definitely there.
Right. So anyway, let's go into spoilers.
Yeah, because we didn't see any new trailers for anything we haven't talked about before.
We did see, though, a trailer, not for Coco, but a trailer for Frozen Fever, which it was a trailer for the short, or not Frozen Fever, Olaf's
Bad
holiday
Christmas movie.
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
what the name of that is. Olaf's Bad Christmas movie.
We saw a trailer for that, and then it was like, now playing in front of Coco, and I'm like, oh, did someone not get the memo?
Yeah.
Because in case you haven't heard, that's not playing in front of Coco anymore.
Yeah, they cut it, because not only we complained about that, most people complained about that.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it's good. That's
but
good.
Just
but that has nothing to do with this.
We saw a trailer for a short.
Yeah. Which is
before
kind of
our
nuts.
movie. Yeah.
Anyways, there's not going to be a lot of transition time here between the non-spoiler and the spoiler section. So if what we've said so far actually interests you and wanting to go watch this movie, do it, because these people deserve money.
Yeah, Blue Sky did a really good job here.
It's like, sure, you watched Star Wars this last weekend, but go see Ferdinand this weekend.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it. Mm-hmm. Right before Christmas. Give yourself a Christmas treat.
Yeah.
All right. And now I think we can get into the more spoilery stuff, which, I mean, for the most part, there's not a whole lot of, like, ooh, spoiler stuff unless you've never heard the story of Ferdinand before.
Right. I mean, we've covered the story of Ferdinand before on Animation Pilgrimage, because Disney made a short of it back in 39. 39 or 40. Either way.
A while ago.
Yeah. And I really like that short, so I was going into this praying that it would not be like a Lorax situation where it's just like, you know...
You took the source material and
fucked
it.
You took it from a book, and then somebody made a perfect short that did the book so much justice, and now you turned it into a feature-length slogfest because it's just too long and you just padded it out. And it does have a padding problem.
Yes, because it is a very short book that they were trying to work from. Mm-hmm. Because it's a short story.
And I think there's a few points where when they came up in the story, I was like, I don't know if I agree with them, like, switching this around here. Mm-hmm. But then as the movie continued, I was like, okay.
I see the direction they're going with this film, so this change works.
Right.
For what they're doing.
My first one would be Ferdinand knowing his dad at the beginning.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, it's like I didn't see really where they were going with that.
It's like, I mean, obviously he's gonna die.
Right. And it's like, oh, well, we just wanted to add some, like, parent chemistry. And I'm like, well, what was wrong with his mom being there and being like, oh, you know, I'm okay with my boy just sitting under the fir tree and smelling the flowers.
Mm-hmm. But
they do work it back into the story quite nicely for the reason why it's his dad there instead of his mom.
Because he lives in a fighting bull training stable, farm, place.
Yeah, it's
So
Casa del Toro.
Yeah.
So, home of bulls.
God. It's like, as I was saying it, like, as we said it, I was like, oh, Toro is bull.
Yeah.
Or something. Right.
House of bulls, home of bulls, yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Again, I'm not terribly good at Spanish. But hey, you know what? This year we got 2 good
Spanish
language films.
Yes. One is actual Spain, and the other one would be Coco in Mexico.
But both are great.
Yeah.
I mean, Coco's definitely better,
this-
but this is a great film.
Yeah, and this film had a lot of really nice touches where it's like people are just casually speaking Spanish in the background.
Mm-hmm. I
a
noticed
lot
that...
of great character designs for the people. There was one of the first people they showed in the film. I was like, ugh.
No, we're gonna be stuck with this through the whole movie.
I was like, wow, the animal designs are really good. And then they showed the first person, the first human, and I was like,
uh-oh.
That usually never happens. I'm usually never like, oh, well, the animal designs were great, but the human designs could use a little work. But it was just that first guy. And then the rest of them were like, actually, I really, really like these designs.
They work very well. And yeah, as we were saying earlier, the animation in this film is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's like top-notch stuff. All the visual humor works pretty well.
And I cannot praise this enough because so many companies fall into this trap of animating everything so zany and quick, and everything's just got to be animated where it's like 2 frames to show this one thing, and it's so wacky and fast.
It takes its time.
And I hate that. But this movie has a great combination and a great flow to it where it's like sometimes things take their time and they're slow and there's actual character animations, and then sometimes things get really zany and fast and it's really fun to watch.
And both of those are used for humor. Not just like, oh, there's slow points for like the plot stuff and then there's quick zany stuff for the jokes. No, there's like slow build-ups for jokes and it works very well.
Yes, indeed. There are times where...
Honestly, the goat. A lot of the goat just moving around is a lot of slower animation, and it's all very jokey movements, though, and it works very well.
My one complaint with the animation, though, is it definitely feels like it was geared to be viewed in 3D.
Yeah...
I felt like there was a lot of times where the characters were getting, like, unnecessarily close to the camera to punctuate a joke. And it just happened, like...
a couple of times.
A few too many times, where it's just like, I'm starting to sense a pattern here, and it's kind of getting a little bit obnoxious. But, I mean, that is a very small nitpick.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even notice.
There was one shot in the movie where Sean and I, most of the animation in this film is beautiful.
And then just one shot with a single character and like, what? Wait, did you see that?
Yeah, we both just turned to each other and we're like, what?
Like a police officer just like delivers a line and like the animation of her speaking is like weirdly exaggerated and like out of place for the rest of the scene, and like everything about it just felt super weird.
Yeah, it felt like it was running on an odd frame rate, and it was really over animated as well. I don't know, but I wouldn't even bring it up if it weren't for the fact that both of us noticed it and turned to each other and was like, what happened? So,
And then I never really saw anything that out of place again throughout the entire film.
Yeah, so
It's just like this one shot for like, I don't know, like 15 seconds at most.
Oh, yeah, it's not even that long.
Like
the police
5
officer delivers
seconds.
one line, and
And then it cuts away and we never see it again.
Yeah, so I guess, question for you guys. If you guys have seen Ferdinand, please tell us if you noticed that scene as well, because we noticed it right away, and I want to know if it wasn't just like our movie theater bugging out or something.
I doubt it was the movie theater bugging out, but yeah, something about that scene just seemed really off.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like right at the end of like the flower scene with Ferdinand going nuts.
Breaking up the town and eating a baby.
Not even a nibble.
Not even a nibble. The goat. There are a lot of extraneous characters in this film,
Yes.
and I don't hate any of them, but
No.
I feel like some of them got a little too much screen time.
Yeah, like I don't care for the hedgehogs.
No.
They're definitely the most forgettable parts of this movie.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
then for some
that
reason
could've been
there's the
scrapped.
bunny as well.
Yeah, scrap the bunny. I mean, the bunny is fine for like
one joke.
Yeah.
And then they redid it and like, okay, no. And there wasn't a third hit, so it fell flat. Because that's the thing. Many jokes work best on threes. It's like, you do it once and it's funny. The second time, it's not as good. But then the third time, wow, that's when you get them. Of doing the exact same thing.
Right. But the goat was kind of on that like
It
teeter-totter.
kept flip-flopping.
Right, it's like sometimes you're just really obnoxious and I wish you weren't in this movie. And
But
then
also-
other times you had a really good joke there and I had a chuckle.
Yeah, it's like, I was fine with the goat overall. But yes, it was definitely one of those characters that flip-flops on the, you're too obnoxious, you're just fine how now you, it just keeps going back and forth. I'm mumbling.
It's fine. Yeah, but the bulls were fantastic. I
Oh,
actually
yes.
really, really enjoyed all the bull
All of
characters.
the bulls. Even the overly Scottish, was it Scottish or Irish?
Scottish.
Yeah, I was like, wait, did I
Played
just...
by David Tennant.
Yes. Yeah. One of the old Doctor Who's.
Yeah.
It's like, even his over-the-top Scottish accent. is
He was
like,
kind of annoying at first, but then he got a lot better as the film went on.
yeah, that's something this film did a very good job of. It set up all these, like, basic character, like, bull tropes, and then actually did a really good job of
Like deconstructing them.
And, like, having them warm up to Ferdinand, because Ferdinand is a genuinely nice guy all of the time.
Yeah, and I'm going to say John Cena actually did a great job voice acting.
Yeah, I was kind of doubtful on how this would work. There was like 1 or 2 points where it's like, okay, that read felt a little off, but more often than not, I gotta say, John Cena did a really good job in this role.
I am still a little on the fence, though, about like a WWE. Am I saying that right?
I think
Are
so.
those the initials?
Pro wrestler.
A pro wrestler.
I don't know if he was in WWE or like one of the other.
Speaking about a pacifist message, for being like the leader, the face of a pacifist message. Like, that's just kind of alright.
I mean, I kind of understand it because, I mean, all of the wrestling stuff is like they're putting on a show.
yeah.
It's like, even if there is real violence going on, it's done up for like showmanship and stuff. And so it's fighting for fun as compared to fighting to like legitimately kill someone. I don't know. I don't watch pro wrestling. The bits I've seen about it and people talking about it, I know people have a lot of fun with it, and I have nothing against it. It's just,
Right.
I know it's not for me specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all of the other bulls are set up very well. Even like the super tropey like antagonist bull,
The rival bull.
the rival bull, is like he comes around and it works mostly. He's probably the weakest
Of
of all of the bulls, and that's even including the like. Oh no, the Barfy bull is definitely the weakest.
Oh yeah.
I did not like him.
The low confidence bull.
Yeah, he's just...
He has a couple... His good jokes are the ones where he's smiling.
Yeah.
Like, those are the ones that make me laugh.
It's like, I got picked, guys! It's amazing! Gets carted away into a meat truck.
Yeah, alright.
Oh, they just killed him. No, he is alive.
Wait. No. Let's... Okay. This movie, like I said, it has a bit of a tone problem. They're all fine, making their jokey jokes, and then all of a sudden, Barfy Bull comes up, and he's like on the other side of the fence, and he's in a trailer, and he's like, guys, I got picked to fight the Matador! Wow, I didn't expect this to happen.
It was all a blur, I don't know what happened.
And then they are all like, haha, and then the door closes, and you see that he's actually going to the slaughterhouse across the road. And man, the movie just does a 180, and it's like, alright, it's time to get dark and depressing now.
Because if you don't fight, you get chopped into meat.
Yeah.
And they're just like, he's just driven away, and you're like, oh, that's the last time we're going to see this character, because he is now dead.
It's like, yeah, it's like the scene in Lady and the Tramp, where they're taking the one... When they're in the pound, and they're taking the one dog over to get euthanized. Oh,
I must have not remembered that scene. It's been a while since I've seen Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, my heart. That'll be fun then, because Lady and the Tramp's a lot darker than people remember.
Yeah, I know that, but I don't know, it's like I'll need to watch it again. But
yeah.
We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about Ferdinand, which is a good movie. It's like, it got really dark. Spoilers, later on you find out he's still alive. They still haven't chopped him.
Wish they wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I wish he would have just stayed dead. Just for some...
Gave the movie a bit more stakes.
Yes. It's like, the second bull that goes off, which is the rival guy, it's understandable why he's still alive, because that would literally just happen that day. So it's like, yeah, it's understandable he's still alive, but the other one's like, he's been gone for 2 days. How have they not...
This movie had enough, tonal whiplash, though. I was a little afraid that when Ferdinand was sneaking into the slaughterhouse to get the other bull, he was gonna, see some shit. And I was like, are they gonna go here?
Yeah, I was genuinely curious, how dark are we gonna get in this place?
I was almost waiting for him to maybe find the rival bull, but then they, turn a corner to escape, and they just see, a chunk of meat there, and they're like, oh no, Barfy Bull! And it's they see his horns or something, and they're like, oh no!
He did.
And then it cuts. It's just... I wasn't sure, man.
No, instead they have a comic relief. Oh no, we're going through the choppy machine, which seems very practical.
Yeah, there's a little laser wire that
sets it off
that
for some
turns
reason.
It on. That does not seem like a good
Again,
system,
like we
guys.
said, this movie does definitely have weird, contrived fluff scenes, like that one.
Oh, but we haven't even gotten to the best one.
Oh God! So at this bar,
there's some horses.
There are 3 super German horses.
I think they're more Swedish.
Either way, they are just a bomb, and I love them. Because they talk like this all the time, and they're just hoof bump, yeah.
Oh, yes,
oh, you stupid bulls with your tiny little legs. You can't dance and prance like we can.
Because we are horses.
What beautiful horses. Lay. Oh. They were so much fun all the time. They're just shit talking constantly.
Yeah.
And so this leads to a dance-off. You heard me right, a dance-off between these
No, we're not crazy. We still actually like this movie.
A dance-off between these prissy horses and the bulls. And it's honestly complete fluff, but is genuinely great.
Might just be the best part of the movie.
Yeah. It's I understand why it was here, because it's a way for Ferdinand to win over all of the bulls.
Right, it did have a story purpose.
Yes, it just made everyone actually kind of feel happy for once and be friends.
Right. this is the best use of a dance-off I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
But it is still a dance-off in the middle of a movie. Like...
And, like, each of the bulls dances in, like, completely different ways that, like, fits their
and the
trope.
horse... Yeah, yeah.
And then the horse is just, like, doing fucking ballerina shit and flips and, like...
Oh, that whole scene was amazing.
Like,
the animation in that scene was fantastic.
At one point, the two extra horses, like, do a heart with their necks and, like, head and stuff, and the other one just, like, jumps through and goes, or something, and I started laughing, because it's just great.
So good.
Oh my god, I fucking loved that scene. And it's like, the bulls as well, it's like, obviously the Scottish one does, like, a Scottish jig, and, like, the skinny bull, Bones, who's played by an African-American guy, like,
does a break dance.
Just does, like, break dancing and stuff. And then
there's a bull.
Machina is a mute Frankenstein-esque bull.
He was born in a lab.
He was born in a lab, so of course he's just like this weird, mute, robotic bull. He starts, like...
His dance moves are the best.
His dance moves are the best because
they're
they
like
made this model to, like, just break.
Yeah, it's like his dancing is like a mixture of, like, robotic stuff, but also break dancing.
Like, the cool break dancing where, like, people will, like, keep one part of their body in place while the rest of it moves in, like, crazy, jerky manners.
Right.
It's like, you know what I'm talking about, and I can't dance like that, but it's so fucking cool to watch. Mm-hmm. They have this bull do that to, like, a hilarious extremes.
Yeah.
And it's like, that bull, most of his jokes were fantastic.
Uh-huh.
It's like, one or two is like, that's fine.
Right.
But it's just like, top notch on Machina.
Yeah. Great job, whoever animated on him. Like, that's just fantastic.
It's fucking great.
Oh,
we haven't even talked about, like, the Matador or anything like that.
No, we haven't. Another thing I was gonna say, because I brought up there was a few points where it's like they changed things from the original story, and I was like, what? Mm-hmm. My second thing that I was gonna bring up was the Ferdinand getting stung is in the wrong spot in the story. Mm-hmm. And I think this is more so, like, I completely understand why they did it, but I think I have a problem with it because I know the book and I know the short.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, now there is all this padding here when I know that this is something that's just like one and done right here in the book. Mm-hmm. So it just makes it feel very long to get to the point where the Matador picks Ferdinand. And you're like, why is he gonna pick Ferdinand though? And the reason they come up with isn't that great.
No, it felt like they used the bee sting to make him go nuts too early in the film. So
when they could have used it somewhere else.
Yeah, when they could have used it near the end and made the Matador choose him because he went nuts. Because that's what happens in the book.
Yeah, I guess what I was gonna say is that they could have made Ferdinand go crazy in the town some other way, or just had it so, like, the people who owned the Casa del Toro maybe, like, saw him there and recognized him and
something.
Yeah,
so it definitely made the Matador, who's super prim and proper and ooh, I'm amazing, wah and stuff, him choosing Ferdinand felt very inconsequential.
Right.
It is a very weak reasoning. It's like, oh, he broke the other bull's horn, even though he was obviously not fighting back in any way.
Right. Yeah.
It's like the one bull just broke his own horn against Ferdinand because Ferdinand is just that great. He's just that big, massive meat.
Yeah. Hasn't worked out a day in his life, but man.
Man, is he ripped.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Ultimately, Ferdinand does end up in the bull ring. And
one thing I thought I was going to hate about this movie, but it actually didn't end up really bothering me that much, was the fact that they, from the trailers especially, it looked like they turned Ferdinand into another one of those, he's a pet, he's like a dog. Kind of thing. But they actually don't do that too much. But it is taken to, like, oh, isn't it hilarious how extreme they are about loving this bull in this family?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But he does remain a bull. They don't dogify him.
Yeah, like you often see with other animals in this same situation in other films. Where it's like, oh, it's this one animal, but we're just going to treat it as though it's a dog for all intents and purposes.
Right.
Other than the fact that it's obviously like this, I don't know, whatever.
Right.
It's a dragon. Nope, it's a dog.
No, it's a dog. It's a horse. No, it's a dog.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, he's a bull all the time. But yeah, as the scene is going up to the actual, like, event, we see the Matador getting ready and stuff. And it's like, you can see a bit of his past and, like, his legacy of, like, he's got all these other Matadors in his life or people that he looks up to that he's like, I can't let you down type of thing. And it's all very subtle with him.
There's some great shots and just in that whole scene leading up, especially where it's like they're crossfading.
The mirroring, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like it's Ferdinand in this dark cellar and the Matador
in his nice elaborate room as he's getting ready and stuff. It's like, that's some good shit there. Yeah.
This film had very nice commentary about bullfighting.
It's just like, this is a thing that exists, and it's not great, but people play it up quite a bit.
Right.
And it's like, even in the end, the Matador was not a villain.
No.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I appreciate that so much. It's like,
I do wish, when Ferdinand is in the ring, I think it would have been more powerful
if there was less of the dancing and
less of the fighting going on, because there's scenes where Ferdinand isn't fighting, he's more so just defending himself and dancing, like, away from the Matador, but it's still an action scene, essentially. And I just feel like it would have been more powerful had they not done that.
Where Ferdinand does, if there's significantly less or just none at all.
Because they set it up to be that way, where the Matador has the flower right away at the beginning, smells it, and then drops it in the arena. It's like, you could have just had him walk over there, had Ferdinand walk over to the flower right away from the beginning, and just sit and smell the flower.
Because, once they get to the point where Ferdinand is like, he stops, and then just, there's the final confrontation of like, well, okay, the Matador has the sword now, it's time to do the deed. And Ferdinand's just like, no, if you're gonna do it, but I will not fight you.
Yeah, and I think
it was genuinely powerful.
It was, but I think it would have been more powerful without the fighting beforehand.
Yes, yeah.
Because also they set that up right away in the beginning too. When all the bulls are calves, Ferdinand is trying to protect this flower, and like he sits so that he's like sitting around the flower to protect it, and you know, the one big rival bull comes over and he's like, well, I'm gonna squash your stupid flower, and Ferdinand's like, well, you can hit me if you want, but don't hurt the flower, and I'm not gonna fight you. You can do whatever you want to me, but I'm not gonna fight you. And it's just, that setup was perfect for Ferdinand to then not involve himself in any conflict at the end.
And all throughout the rest of the film, Ferdinand does a very good job of de-escalating or not fighting in every scene.
Yeah.
It's very well done. And it's like, obviously, the filmmakers wanted to have some action here at the end.
But I think they had,
they had enough leading up to it. I agree.
Right.
I agree.
It's like there's chase scenes and You know, the whole going through the slaughterhouse thing and...
Yeah, I definitely think there was more than enough leading up to it. It's just like, we made this entire fucking stadium with all these insane amounts of random background NPCs that are moving constantly.
NPCs.
You know what I meant. Background
Crowd shots.
Crowd shots. It's like, this is a cool place. We should spend more than 3 minutes in here. So they pad out the movie.
Yeah.
As they do with most of the movie.
Well, I feel like it's more so this is the point in the movie where we need to have action.
Yeah.
Because that's very much so what it felt like to me while we were watching it.
I agree.
I wish they would have maybe stuck to their guns a little bit more and...
How did I know you were going to say that?
Stuck to your guns?
Yeah. Just like that specific term came to my mind as well.
Yeah.
We're the same person. Yeah. I don't know if there's a whole lot more to speak about this film.
I think that pretty much gives our thoughts on Ferdinand. It's a decent film. Like I said, probably in my top 5 for this year. Like I also said, that's not necessarily a very high bar to cross, but it was a really good time, and I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, there's
if
more
you're
than...
just looking for something fun.
Yeah,
if you're looking for something a little bit more serious, or like something like Coco that'll make you cry, you're not going to find it here.
That is correct. But yeah, if you're looking for the good animated films this year, this is one of them.
Most definitely.
Okay, I think that's it. Now, that's all the movies that we're going to go to theaters to see this year. We're still hoping to get reviews of The Breadwinner and, if we can, Loving Vincent. And those might come out after the turn of the year, but we're going to hopefully get those out because those movies both came out this year and we want to see them. And then after we do all of that, we're thinking of doing like a retrospective where we talk about all the different films we've seen this year and like compare and contrast them. So I guess...
Let us know what you think about that.
Yeah, and maybe list off some of your favorite movies that you've watched this year.
Yeah.
Animated or not, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd prefer the animated films you've seen, but if you saw some really cool live action stuff, let us know. All right, and...
We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, all right.
Next year.
Yes. All right. Bye.